Hello, everybody. Hey, Klein here from HK Digital Reviews, and I am here today not for a review, but an overview of some of my favorite albums that I've heard in 2019. Now, I'm not gonna go through all of them because there's a lot of albums I've liked so far this year. A bunch of them are up in the top where I could consider them for album of the year. But I just want to go over about 10 albums real quick about that are my favorites of 2019 so far. Just kind of give a slight, not really a review, but just kind of like talk about them just a little bit to give you a reason why I do like them so much. Um, so yeah, these are just 10 albums so far that have really impressed me. And why waste more time? Let's get into it. First of all, we have Tyler, the creator, with his album Igor, which is an absolutely fantastic breakup record. Absolutely amazing. New soul, rap, and R&B come together, create this beautiful yet sometimes creepy fusion. Tyler the Creator, man, he definitely has had one of the most impressive um, progressions of any artist I've ever seen. Honestly, over the past 10 years or so, like he started off as one of the edgiest, darkest rappers in the game at the moment. Like he really was extremely dark and everything, but to the point to where some people found it corny. And now, as of recently, he's become this artist who just makes essentially beautiful music in a way, and it's just more focused on a love kind of style anymore. It seems like, but of course that creepiness is still there with Tyler. It's not exactly like the edginess is gone, especially if you listen to the song "New Magic Wand" off this record. You would definitely hear that he still definitely has that darker edge to him, and he's not afraid to use it where it fits right into a story that he's trying to say. And the story that he has on here is well crafted. The concept is fantastic. It's easy to follow. It's not like when you have to think too hard, although he doesn't necessarily make it like straight through. You can just understand completely what is really going on. You might have to think just a little bit to fully get what's going on, but it's still well written. His beats that he produced are fantastic. Um, I love the synth work on this album so much. He just knows how to play with those perfectly to hit you in the right spots for the emotion. And he's also just consistent, really. Completely consistent. Might be a couple times where I think he might have dipped down a little bit. Maybe production was just a little bit off, but it's easily one of the best records of the year. Definitely the best soul slash R&B record I've heard this year. So, great job by Tyler. Very good job. Next on this list, we have the self-titled Injury Reserve album, which I love so much because it's basically filled with banger after banger, and it's fantastic. So, Injury Reserve is a group of guys. I think three of them are in it. There's a producer, and there's the two rappers, um, and they mainly do like industrial hip hop, but it's mixed with like pop rap and stuff like that. So you kind of get the catchy elements of pop rap mixed in with the more industrial, ex- I would say, kind of slightly experimental styles that the producer also produces on this album, and it melds fantastically on this project. Now, I've seen a lot of people kind of give this album some hate only because of the fact it's not as good as their mixtapes they released back in the day, apparently. But I never really got around to those mixtapes before listening to this album, so I didn't really have much to judge from back then to today. But I guess because of that, I found this album to be absolutely fantastic. The track "Jailbreak the Tesla" is probably banger of the year. I don't think there's a rap song that really, I guess, it's just enjoyable. Really, everything about that track is just so enjoyable that I don't know. There's not many other songs this year that I've come back to as much as that one. But besides that, this was a pretty solid studio debut album. I think the features were pretty great on it. The beats were pretty variable, I have to say. Um, yeah, I don't really have much more to say about that, but definitely one of my favorites this year. Um, Next, we have Redvox with their album Kerosene. Now, this was the first album this year, I believe, that I put into the gold standard. Um, and I didn't really know what to expect when going into this album, but it turns out that this album is like a an acoustic rock album of sorts, believe it or not, which I guess is actually different from their usual. They're usually not this way, but I loved almost all of what they did on this album. I think they really brought a good emotion with the sounds. Like the title track Kerosene even has like a slight grunge kind of feel to it, and the emotion that's kind of felt from the guitar is pretty gloomy and everything like that. It's just written very, very well. The song Define Me is probably the most inspirational song I've heard this year. It's definitely one of my favorite songs I've heard this year as well. And it really just kind of sets the whole tone for the album because that was actually the opening track of this album. And the rest of the album, even though maybe it doesn't get as good in quality as that one song, I still enjoy it a lot. And the rest of the album still hits its marks pretty much consistently. So there's that one. Next, we have Rico Nasty and Kenny Beats with their collaborative project, Anger Management. And my god, this was savage as hell, at least for the first half. This album, Rico Nasty is one of the most just in your face female artists I've seen in a long time. She is willing to just rip your throat out and then fucking just drink your blood and not give a flying fuck. She is truly one of the most aggressive rappers out there in the game, male or female. It doesn't really matter at that point. She is just aggressive as hell. And Kenny Beats knows exactly how to make beats and production that goes underneath her absolutely hellacious voice that she has on this project. And the beats that Kenny produces are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic on this entire thing. He really knows how to meld with her style. He makes beats just as aggressive as she does, and it just flows together perfectly. And I seriously hope that these two will collaborate again. I really hope, because my god, this was so fun to listen to. This project was great. It was only 9 tracks, too. It's a relatively short project, but my god, they hit it out of the park with this one. No question about that. Absolutely loved it. But on to the next album. We have Weiss Blood with Titanic Rising. I don't really have too much to say about this except it is an absolutely stunning and beautiful art pop album. Her voice is magnificent on the entire thing. And I guess really when I'm thinking about it, I don't have too much more to say about it because it's one of those albums that as much as I loved, I guess I don't remember as much. I don't go back to it as much as the other ones. However, I do remember I did after going back to listen to some of them recently, did admire what she was doing on this project, and it's a pretty amazing project. It's probably one of the most beautiful things you'll hear this year. I don't think there's going to be a pop record that's going to even come close to it personally, but we'll have to see. We'll just have to see what these next few months bring, I guess. Let's see. Next one, we have Billy Woods and Kenny Segal with their collaborative project, Hiding Places. This is another case of a rapper and a producer coming together, creating a fantastic record. Um, Billy Woods is like a mixture of conscious hip hop and hardcore hip hop. Um, and when Kenny Segal comes on this thing and mixes it up with his production style and the beats that he produces, we have this very gloomy but yet very serious and fun record that they end up creating. Um, Again, when I say that, really just how great the when I say that the beats are great and they provide emotion, like they really do. Like the synth work, the sometimes you get like a bass line that comes in that really provides a feeling of like sadness almost. I would say it's not like this album's trying to make you sad necessarily, but you definitely feel an emotion that's not happiness, it's not anger, and maybe it's not sadness. It's just kind of like a mix, maybe of like all three of them kind of like put into one, and that's what the beats on this album just do for the most part. Definitely, Kenny Segal brings out the best in Billy Woods on this, and really just makes Billy Woods fantastically serious and sometimes dark and sad lyrics come into the light much more and just make you kind of realize what's going on. So definitely a good rap album. Loved it, and there's actually quite a few rap albums on this list. I just realized, but it's been a pretty good year for rap. It's also been a pretty bad year for rap, but I'll probably get to that at a different time, at least by the end of the year. Anyways, next we're going to another direction here with a rock album, and we have Bad Flowers. Okay, I'm Sick. This was an album that I was anticipating since last year, after hearing songs like Heroin, Animal, and also hearing Ghost, and then hearing X and X, which is one of my favorite songs of 2018. I was hella hyped for this record to come out, and I was not disappointed. Even though it wasn't what I was expecting. I was actually expecting a more guitar driven record, based on some of the songs I'd heard, especially X and X. That's not what happened though. We ended up getting a more kind of slower paced record, more of a mainstream kind of field kind of record, but these guys handled it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. The instrumentation melded beautifully with the vocals of the lead singer here, and with the vocalist's extremely dark lyrics and themes throughout this album. Holy crap. Like, he hits every dark theme you could possibly think of, like when it comes to like stalking people online, when it comes to the whole Catholic priest and altar boy situation, when it comes to just domestic abuse, either sexual or violent, or physical abuse, excuse me. It's just extremely raw and disturbing, most of what he does on here. And he even gets into some political stuff on here as well, which even that's done pretty well and angrily, to be honest with you. Even if it may have been somewhat long-winded, he still hits everything right in the head. And again, his disturbing moments on this album are absolutely disturbing. And to go along with it, he does talk about depression a lot. He talks about suicide. The song Ghost graphically talks about suicide and self-harm, depression, not to mention. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this except this was a fantastic listen. Bad Flower did not disappoint on their debut. I cannot wait to hear what they'll do next. And that's what I gotta say about that particular album. Next up, another album that was towards the beginning of the year. This one actually was it the first one? No, it wasn't the first one that got the gold standard, but Malibu Ken, self-titled, a collaborative project, another collaborative rap project. It's been a good year for collab albums. Apparently, it's been pretty good. But yeah, ASAP Rock and the producer Tobacco come together to create what's probably going to be still the most, well, I was going to say the most fun abstract hip hop, experimental hip hop record of the year. But then Injury Reserve kind of came out. But I guess Injury Reserve technically would be an industrial hip hop. So we're just going to kind of at least leave that to the side. So I guess I'll still say that Malibu Ken, probably the most exciting and fun abstract hip hop record you'll hear. It's not like abstract, gloomy, kind of like what Mike did on his previous record. This is more like this like fun, good times kind of deal instead of being more on the serious side. And the beats represent that well too. Um, yeah, there's really not much else to say except this was a really solid release by a guy that I didn't really hear of before, and I'm really looking forward to see if this collaboration continues because I enjoyed this. I thought this was pretty good. I didn't think I was gonna have that much fun listening to an abstract hip hop record, but they proved me wrong there. So, anyways, next up is an album I'm so excited to talk about. This was an album that, well, all these albums I actually reviewed on Instagram or here. Actually, no. All these I did actually review on Instagram, except for the final one, which I'll talk about in a second. But Lil Sim's Gray Area, my God, what an album! 10 tracks of the most consistent and quality hip hop I think I've ever heard. Actually, now I think of it, literally, her flow from song to song is ever changing but fantastic. She never skips a beat. Her lyrics are absolutely fantastic from song to song to song to song to song. The beats, her beat choices, and her production choices are fantastic from song to song to song to song to song. She just doesn't ever dip down quality whatsoever on this album. She legitimately is now, in my opinion, the new face of conscious hip hop, and I don't. It's gonna be hard to beat this album, in my opinion, for album of the year. Like, she really just came through just out of the blue with something that's extremely special, in my opinion. Something that people should, I think, should look into more, because the talent that is shown on this album is phenomenal. She is just all over the place, and just hits everything right in the head. She just nails it all. Like I said, and the beats too. They're all different sounding. Not a single song on here sounds like another. You would not mix up any of the songs with anything else. They're all so unique in their own way, but they flow together so well that it really just it's actually incredible in a way. And yeah, this is probably gonna be the best hip hop album of the year. I mean, I did give it a 10 out of 10, so it could also be very much well be the album of the year. So there you go. But the last album I wanted to talk about real quick was the Orville Peck album Pony, the alternative country album that I did not expect to like, that I ended up loving a lot of, and I actually am starting to love it even more. When I say do not sleep on Orville Peck, I really mean it because he is easily the one of the best new artists in country right now by far. In the past 5 years or so, he's definitely one of the best, no question. His singing voice is unique to country right now. His production style, his instrumentation style, is very unique to country right now, and this needs to be praised a lot more. Because my God, you listen to some of the stuff that country music is producing today, and it is rough. It is extremely rough. It is annoying. It is tacky. It is corny as hell. It is everything that I don't want to hear in music, essentially, put in one humongous genre. Not that it's the worst genre ever. I mean, crunkcore exists, so there's that. But still, having saying that, this guy is the most unique voice right now in country, and he's up there now with my one of my other favorite country artists, Chris Stapleton, in terms of how much I like him, and I do like Chris Stapleton a lot. So what can I say? But yeah, Orville Peck, this album was fantastic. You definitely, if you haven't checked it out and you're a country fan, you have to check. You have to check this thing out. And it's different too lyrically. I mean, yes, it's got LGBT themes in it. It hasn't been really confirmed yet if he himself is LGBT. I think I mean, he probably is if he's singing about this stuff. But nobody knows anything about the man, so really, who really knows? He could just be doing this just to make himself more mysterious. It's very valid. That could be a reason. But yeah, definitely, easily the best country album of the year. I don't, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get a better country album. We're just not. Unless somebody releases something so amazing that it just completely takes over my world for who knows how long, then I don't think we're gonna see it. But that's it. That is so far some of my favorite albums of 2019. That's not all of them, of course. There are others that I haven't talked about. Like I didn't talk about the Mike record again. I didn't talk about the Black Midi album again. There's other ones I could have talked about as well. I could have talked about EPs. I guess just to mention the ones I really like. Moody Black with 3, and then Grandsons Volume 2. I forgot the name. Oh yeah, A Modern Tragedy Volume 2. So there's that too, but that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Comment what you thought about these albums. Comment albums down below that are some of your favorite of 2019. And maybe I'll get to them and see what I think about them. And that's about it. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and you all have a nice day.